Okay, a user named Trick said, "Thanks for the vid. This goes back to how you're using the word determinism. It has nothing to do with if something is probabilistic and everything to do with if it is causal. For the free will debate, probabilism does not matter. I repeat, it does not matter that we can only conclude probabilities for something. What matters for the free will debate is if it's causal. And this all leads to the logical nature of causality, which again is where we are disagreeing. There is no logical nature of causality. It's either empirical or it's just made up like some mathematical system that nobody has applied. So I said for that to be true, you have to define causal, and rough definitions won't do. So Trick comes back with these. Event, an occurrence, something happening. Cause, an event that forces another event effect to occur. Effect, an event that occurs due to another event cause. Okay, so that's already, I mean, that's pretty good. But the thing is, cause, an event that forces another event to occur. That never happens. Why? Because all events are energy transfer. And how does energy transfer work? Energy transfer works that you emit photons and or some other force carrying particle, and another thing receives it, right? That thing builds up energy. Then its effects are that it emits energy of force carrying particles, and you don't know which one is gonna happen. It's not forced. You see, you could say, oh well, that energy is the cause of that photon is the cause of the energy rising in the atom. Yeah, it forces it to do that. Except for, of course, it doesn't because it might reflect or something like that. It isn't always absorbed. But even if you say it forces it to get to this energy state, the fact is the matter is determined by um, by how energy states, potential energy, gets released into actual energy, which is the indeterministic part. Okay. Now, I think the free will debate does depend on this stuff quite heavily, because it's important to be able to say there's some sort of a determinism, and you want to go around the back way and say, well, it's not necessarily determinism or whatever. Hey, you need to understand. QM asserts that the probabilistic nature of our data is not just because of the inaccuracy of our devices. Even given very accurate devices, we'll have these problems because our devices start to be more accurate than the actual information that we're looking for. What can I say? Electrons, protons, all particles, they're all smeared out over space in this probabilistic way. And what's physical of an electron seems to be this wave packet. That's what's physical because it goes in two places at once. When you do that, it's pretty hard to get some sort of virtual material idea. It's going to turn out to be just virtual when you can see that it's in two places at once and interacts with itself. That's what we call a material interaction there. So the problem is, with this idea of it forcing another event, and also due to another event. If you have a bunch of energy put into a system and then that system expresses the energy in some way, uh, what is the resultant event due to? Which of the input photons is it due to? You see, the quantum nature of reality means there's these discrete transitions. And in order for discrete transitions to be discrete, there's something hidden about that transition, and what it is hidden is the exact result of it. Okay, now I know you don't have to believe it, but this is what quantum mechanics asserts. It doesn't assert all the multiverse stuff and things like this because there's a lot of interpretations. But one way or another, there's a material reality to a wave that maps to probability, which, if the wave is probability based and it's material, then probability is material. And it turns out it's not just an illusion of the macroscope. And it's so funny to me, everybody's saying, oh, well, it doesn't apply to us. Hey, listen, everybody thinks that indeterminacy applies to the macroscope. Okay, then people came up with determinism and said, no, that's an illusion. Well, but it turns out it applies all the way down at the bottom. So maybe it wasn't such an illusion that it applies to our world too. Um, yeah, and there's willful indeterminacy due to probabilism as opposed to mere uh, randomness is the only sort of, of indeterminacy. All right, cheers.